Hi there. I'm Mary Joan, and I'm back with some more information to share with you to help with your emotional journey as you become a first time mom or are already a first time mom and perhaps struggling because many of us do. So, I have a confession to make. When I was younger, it would have been hard for me to make any kind of confession because I wanted to show the world that I had everything all together. I knew what I was doing about everything. And I took a lot of efforts to just kind of present the right image because that felt somehow important to my sense of identity and my sense of self esteem. But as I've gotten older and wiser, I'm more okay to tell the world I'm not okay. I don't have it all together. I do well most of the time, but it's a process and a journey. So my confession today is that I am a recovering perfectionist. And being a recovering perfectionist has meant that I have spent a lot of time feeling bad about myself, judging myself really harshly, and feeling somehow that I wasn't good enough. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of people struggle with this. I work with lots of clients who struggle with this exact same thing. And I think for first time moms, that's something a lot of women can probably relate to. And if you're a first time mom, I'm guessing you might relate to it a little bit as well, or maybe even a lot. But what I can tell you about being a perfectionist is that it is a massive setup for suffering because there's no way we can be perfect. There is just no way in this world that we can be perfect at everything we do because we're human. And as humans, we make mistakes. And as humans, we have weaknesses. And as humans, we will fail at things. And all of those things are perfectly normal. But when we have set ourselves up to need to be perfect and strive for that perfectionism, we end up feeling bad. And as I said, it creates suffering. And underneath it all is this kind of tender, vulnerable part of us that feels like somehow we're not good enough. And we want to cover that up by, pushing towards that idea of perfectionism. But it hurts us and it's a setup. And I want to help you, ladies and women, and men, if you're watching this, learn how to let go of that because you will reduce your suffering, you will feel better, and you will have a more realistic and compassionate heart and view of yourself, which is so important. So, as you think about this concept in relation to yourself, do you ever get really hard on yourself? Do you judge yourself really harshly? Do you somehow think you should know how to do X, Y, or Z? Do you feel like if you just tried harder, it could be better? And all of those things are ways that make everything harder for you right now. And especially being a new mom because we've never done it before. There's no real handbook on how to do this, and there's no real way to prepare for how hard this job is. And it breaks my heart when women beat themselves up and set these crazy high expectations for themselves that nobody could ever meet. So, the message I want to give you today is to stop beating yourself up, to give yourself the compassion you deserve. So, if this was your good friend struggling with perfectionism, feeling that somehow she sucks at being a mom and she sucks at being just a human, you would be telling her to not be so hard on herself. That would come very easily and naturally to you to help her try to have more compassion. So the challenge is for you to give yourself the exact same type of compassion you would give your friend very easily because you deserve it. You deserve your own compassion. And when we give ourselves that compassion, we feel better. We can just take a little breath and feel like, oh, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm not so bad. Maybe I am okay just the way I am. That's the point I want to help you get to is embracing that right here, right now, you are doing a great job. And this job of motherhood is big and it's hard and it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. And you were doing the best you can right now. And that is good enough. It might look different next week, and that's fine. It might look different in a month. That's fine too. But it doesn't mean that where you are right now isn't okay. Because wherever you are right now, you are enough. You're doing your best. And that's all anyone can expect. So I want you to think about for a moment, what are maybe some of the ways you get pretty mean and nasty with yourself, and maybe are sort of having that crazy high expectation that I should be doing this, I should, be the perfect mom, or I should be the mom who has it all together. Think about that one statement or two statements that you maybe say to yourself without even thinking about it. And it might be, why are you being so stupid? Or why are you making such a big deal about this? Or you should have your shit together. Whatever it is, I want you just to jot that note down or jot that statement down on a sticky note. And I want you just to look at it for a moment and think about how that makes you feel. I'm guessing it makes you feel bad, and that's not okay. So now what I want you to do is pick up that sticky note and I want you to rip it in half, and then half again, and then half again. And then I want you to throw that away. I want you to take another sticky note and I want you to put, what would you say to your friend who was saying that exact same mean, nasty thing to herself? What would you say to her? I want you to jot that down on that sticky note and then just put it somewhere. Just put it somewhere where you can see it, to remind yourself that you deserve your compassion. And that is the road to decreasing your suffering. I hope you'll do this. It's one small thing, and and you might be thinking, well, how can this one small thing make any difference? But believe me, I've used this strategy myself, and I've used it with hundreds, if not thousands, of people that I have worked with. And this small, seemingly insignificant thing can make a difference. So I urge you to just take that step, lean into doing this, stop beating yourself up, and let's have you just looking at yourself with more compassion. I'll see you next week.